Eye on the fight. Details everyone missed about Covington versus Masvidal. What's up, fanatics? UFC 272 featured a headline pitting former longtime friends, training partners, fellow MAGA buddies Jorge, Gamebred, Masvidal against Colby Chaos Covington. Fans were eager to see whether Masvidal could pull off a spectacular for him to handle. That's why in this video, we're going to focus in on the finer details, spotting things everyone missed out about Covington versus Masvidal and giving you an eye on the fight. Round 1. Establishing position. Before the sound of the bell, before Herb Dean asked the fighters if they were ready, Street Jesus was trying to give himself blessings, sporting a new patch with the silhouette of his legendary 5-second flying knee KO of Ben Askren. Masvidal leaned up against the octagon cage, the same way he did before the fight, and kissed his knee. Was he signaling his plans for a kiss of death? Like that fight, Masvidal sprinted towards the center. Colby gave space and Masvidal performed a jump and switch kick that hit nothing but air. There would be no early acrobatics this time around. However, the first round set the stage for two themes that played out through the fight, instances of fighting dirty between the longtime rivals, as well as a familiar position that pops up various times throughout the 25-minute bout. Colby likes to set up his takedowns with flurries of quick jabs and strikes before diving on the hips. At 4:05, Masvidal signals to Herb Dean that he was poked, but Colby shots in on the hips. There against the cage, Masvidal reiterates to Dean that he was poked in the eye. It was the first instance of a foul, but wouldn't be the last. Another thing that would happen repeatedly is Masvidal getting taken down against the fence. At the 2:43 mark, we see the position for the very first time. If it's reminiscent of something you've seen before, it's because it's remarkably similar to the position Conor McGregor found himself in before tapping out against Khabib Nurmagomedov. The key difference here is that Colby preferred to try and work for a rear naked choke, whereas Khabib cranked on McGregor's neck to get him to tap. Remember this position, because it pops up many times through the fight. Round 2. Dirty tactics and dominant positions. Before the start of the round, you can hear Colby denying the eye poke to Herb Dean, only to the ref to tell him that he saw it on replay. He was given a hard warning. Covington was able to work Masvidal against the fence again, but complained that Masvidal was hitting him in the back of the head with elbows at the 3:33 mark. In the pre-fight pressers leading up to the UFC 272 main event, Masvidal repeatedly called Covington a crotch sniffer. While Gamebred didn't get to implement his game plan, we can see at 3:12 that Colby goes in for a deep crotch sniff, vindicating his rival prediction. Realizing this, Colby gets heated and throws a low blow knee in the clinch at 3:02. Interestingly, despite his hard warning about eye pokes before the start of the round, Herb Dean hesitated a moment before stopping the action. He gave Masvidal time to recover though, telling Colby that he wasn't giving him back the position because of the low blow. Even Herb Dean wanted to see a Masvidal knockout. Many in the MMA world compare Covington's performance to Nurmagomedov, calling the approach Khabib-esque. At 2:31, we get to see Colby's Walmart version of Khabib classing running knee-to-chain wrestle takedown against the fence. Towards the end of the round, at 1:26, we see the return of the position. Though Masvidal is able to quickly turn out of this one, should Colby have been trying to crank the neck like Khabib did? The difference is the positioning of his elbow. To properly crank, it needs to be positioned on your opponent's back. It seems like Covington couldn't do this with Masvidal back against the cage. But could he have tried cranking it from the other side? Remember this for later. Round 3, Colby takes our advice. Colby wasn't having problems implementing his game plan. He uses his jab to great effect to set up his takedowns against the fence. A perfect example of this comes at 4:45. There's a moment later when Covington has Masvidal on the ground, and it looks like Colby complains to Herb Dean at 2:54 that Masvidal was hooking his gloves to try to prevent him from throwing ground and pound. However, Covington continued to do his best Khabib impersonation, utilizing the Dagestani handcuff at 2:05. Soon thereafter, we see the position emerge again at 1:25. Only this time, it seems Colby read our minds about whether or not he could crank Masvidal next from the other side. Colby does exactly that at 0:53, but Masvidal showed why it doesn't work when he slipped out through the bottom. Round 4, Masvidal's only hope. By the championship round, Masvidal was tired. He'd been controlled throughout the fight and wasn't bouncing around on his feet. Instead, he was just standing in front of Colby. Going into the round, his corner told him they needed something big, knees or elbows. However, to land something big, Masvidal needed to skip the takedown attempts against the cage. After previously complaining about glove hooking, Covington tells the ref at 2:49 that Masvidal is grabbing onto the shorts. Late in the round, Masvidal finally landed the big right counter he was hunting throughout the fight, flashed down in Covington to a knee. It was Masvidal's big opportunity for the something big that his corner ordered before the round started. But round 5, more of the same. After taking a round off, the position doesn't take long to reestablish itself. At 4:23, we see Colby continue to try and secure a rear naked choke from this angle, with Masvidal's back against the cage. We get a clear shot at 3:58 of the positioning of Colby's elbow, showing that he was not interested in trying to crank it from that side like he tried from the other side in round 3. Masvidal is able to scramble around a bit, but the position makes a comeback at 258. An interesting thing to notice here is what Colby does with his knees. Part of the reason he can secure a good angle to really sink in the rear naked is because he can get his hooks in with his legs. Here, he tries an almost knee-on-belly approach, trying to squeeze the air out of Masvidal. At 133, we get a glimpse of the position mirrored from the other side. In keeping with the Khabib comparisons, we see an interesting position at 0.59. One difference you can notice from how Khabib would have his opponents in these positions is wrapping his opponent's legs between his thighs, the maneuver that McGregor named the mermaid thing. At oath full mount, the fight ended in an unanimous decision for Covington, winning 49-46, 50-44, and 50-45. Many people saw the fight playing out this way, similarly to how Usman used his wrestling to control Masvidal in their first encounter. What did you guys think of the fight? Did you see this coming, or were you hoping for another signature super necessary knockout? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoy this breakdown, be sure to like and subscribe for future MMA content. Thanks for watching.